been a long day.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody for showing up. I was like, oh my god, I have to tell so many stories because no one's going to show up. But no, this is great. So, welcome to Convention Stories. My name is Dawn.
My name is Kevin D.
Who here, this is your first convention? Anybody? Alright, cool. Well, hope you're having a good time. But it seems like for the most part, we got people who have seen some things, right? You guys have seen it.
And done it.
Been through it. You guys know.
And done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so who is going to tell a story? Alright, okay. Maybe? Alright. So I was kind of thinking that there was a lot of people. I might have to time you guys because we only have an hour. So nothing like super long, which I know kind of sucks, but I want to make sure that everybody has time to tell a story, you know? So I was talking to some other people, and they were like, oh, I could tell a story, but it's going to take like over an hour. And I was like, okay, well, no one wants to listen to your story for an hour, I'm sorry. Try to keep it around like the 10, 15-minute range.
Yeah.
If even, maybe a little less, you know? Yeah. Open the floor up. So, I'll share a quick story, and then he'll share a story, and then we'll open the floor up. Okay, so, does anybody here know what Dark Side of the Con is?
Vaguely.
Vaguely? So it's a con that just happened recently in North Jersey. So it's an all-goth convention run by Vampire Freaks. So day one, I was extremely drunk. Like right away. Like as soon as I got checked in, I was drinking. So I'm drunk. I'm walking around. Now who here has been interviewed by somebody at a con before? Okay. Yeah, so someone walks up to me and they're like, hey, can we do an interview? And I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. I'm down. So there's like a big video camera and guys, remind you, the whole time, I'm drunk, okay? Please remember this so that you understand my foolishness. So it starts out like a normal convention interview. Oh, what does Dark Side of the Con mean to you? What do you identify as? You know, like goth or what does that mean to you? And then, so after, would you consider yourself to be on the dark side? I was like, yeah, sure, cool, yeah. And then she was like, would you consider Joe Biden to be on the dark side? I was like, what? And then it hit me. Fox News was interviewing me. I was like, oh.
How did they get in there?
Now, I don't know if you guys are like super political, but if you are, I'm sorry, but Fox News is like the worst. So I'm there like, they are gonna make me sound so bad. Because I saw the interview, like it actually did air on TV, they did air it. Thank God I was not in it, because I started like stuttering and like, I was like, what, yeah, yes, maybe, sure. And they just started asking a lot of political questions after that, where I was just like, They were just looking at me like I was stupid. I was like, you guys just made me look like a fool. How could you? And yeah, they actually did make everybody look really stupid on TV. It was really mean. They butchered it. It was awful. Just people trying to have a good time. They like took everybody who cosplayed, because not a lot of cosplayers go to that con, but they took everybody who did and made them look like idiots. It was awful. But yeah, so that happened, and I never felt more stupid in my entire life at a con, because I didn't realize it was Fox News. Like this whole time, I didn't realize it, even though there was a Fox News microphone in my face. So I'm just drunk, staring like, oh, what's happening? Whoops. It was not a good look for me either. My political beliefs, all my friends were like, ew, why'd you talk to Fox News? I was like, damn, my bad. I didn't mean to, sorry.
Yeah, luckily our friend Steve took over.
Yeah, he was like, I got political views, and I was like, shh.
He told him what was going on.
Go. Please save me. You got a story to tell?
Yeah, I got a story. A lot of my stories have to do with celebrities and my flask. Um, it's if you the moral of the stories I'm going to tell is you want to meet some celebrities, bring your flask along. You know, they usually like to drink. But you know who Michael Rooker is?
Yeah.
He's in Guardians of the Galaxy. If you're a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, he's also in Walking Dead. In the beginning of the Walking Dead is Merle on there. But anyway, this was at a con called the Boardwalk Con in Atlantic City. They had it for a couple years. One of my friends ran it. But Michael Rooker was there, and if you know Michael Rooker, he's a big womanizer. He likes to walk around the cons and get photos with the ladies and chat. I know he drives his handler crazy because he's always wandering away. But this one time, my friend, I'm part of a group called the Philadelphia Avengers. We're a local charity group in Philly. I'm one of the founders. Oh, my friend Sarah, she was with me at the con. She was in like a pretty tight costume. I was Captain America. So earlier in the day, she was talking to Michael Rooker, and he was chatting up with her a lot. So and then at the con, we walked up to his table, and he recognized us. He gets up from the table, walks out. There's a line of people there to see him. He leaves the table, walks up, gets a bunch of photos with us. He grabs my shield, acting like he's stealing it from me. He holds it away. So we got a bunch of photos. But I had my flash with me. He walks away from the table, and we share a couple drinks. This is pre-COVID, so it didn't really matter. So he took a couple drinks with me. Later in the day, he met us at the bar, got some more drinks, chatted up a little more. But I have more stories like that with different celebrities taking drinks together.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah. So bring a flash, please, if you go to Comic Cons.
If you're 21,
yeah, if you're
please.
21, yeah. If you're not 21, keep it hidden, I guess. Don't tell anybody. But yeah, that's my story.
All right. We got plenty more stories to fill the time, but I want to hear from you guys. I have a quick question though. Does anybody have a fire alarm story? Oh, why is that? All right. We'll start with you because you're right in the front.
All right, so it was 2 days in a row.
Ah.
It was in the Showboat Atlantic City.
Oh, Anime Next?
No.
Or J1?
No, it was
Fuji-con.
Gucci,
Oh God, that
Here.
Yeah, so everyone's is different, but we all heard the alarm.
Yeah.
It's on Saturday, so I was doing a tour with one of my friends who was also running it, and I heard the alarm and was like, is this false alarm? What is it? And we were walking, and for some reason, a huge crowd, and we started going out, and we were waiting outside of the boardwalk.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, we have to spread the cosplay is not consent thing outside of the con
Oh my
too.
God, Atlantic City for sure.
It's the boardwalk, and people
Mhm.
were looking at us, and they were taking pictures of us without permission, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's day one. Day two, I was another part of the showboat, and it happened again.
Oh.
And then we
I
had
don't
to
remember that
evacuate.
twice, but we
There
were
was
there
no
before.
fire. And then I spoke to the CEO of Fuji-con, because she's a friend of mine. I said, you okay? No, don't ask me that. She didn't even leave. She was supposed to leave Sunday, because that's the last day. So she stayed for another day, and she was on she was on live with the chairs, those massaging chairs. And I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, that must have really been rough. For sure. Yeah, 9 times out of 10 there isn't a fire. It's just someone being a poopy head.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I saw a hand back there.
So, how many people were at Anime Next 2018?
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Everyone in this room
That's
was
awesome.
Okay, so much like most, if not all of these stories, it involves alcohol. I was drunk, my friend was drunk, and then there was a fire alarm actually in the Atlantic City Convention Center, and we were all stuck outside for like God knows how long. I don't know whether or not there actually was a fire or not. So we were just standing outside, minding our own business, mulling around. And I get a bright idea, obviously, while somewhat inebriated, to bar mitzvah the sidewalk. So all of a sudden, we start singing Hava Nagila, dancing the hora, and pointing at the sidewalk.
I love it.
And we bar mitzvahed the sidewalk.
That's amazing. I wish I would have saw that. I don't even know where I was. I was just trapped outside, sweating. It was so hot. That's great, though.
We also, actually at DerpyCon, like 2017, we also bar mitzvahed a kid. That was a common theme with me in terms of.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mazel tov.
What kind?
I saw another hand back there. Yes.
So was anyone at KatsuCon for the Great Fire of 2015?
I keep hearing about that. Oh my god.
Wait, 2015 or 2016?
2016.
Oh, never mind.
So this is the story of the lifetime. My life was saved by furries.
That's a good one.
So a fire alarm went off because there was a small kitchen fire, and they had this fun policy where if you were staying in the hotel, you could just go back to your room, but if you weren't, you had to go outside.
Wow.
And it's Maryland in February, so it was like negative something, and it was 2016, so I was in my little John Egbert God tier cosplay with boxer shorts on,
I love that.
and a t-shirt, and I have severe asthma.
Oh no.
So
I don't love that.
we go outside, and I start hyperventilating because I don't have my inhaler on me, and it's the onset for my asthma attacks. And this guy in a full fursuit notices and gets him and like 6 other full suited furries to like surround me
Oh my god.
and like make a little wind protection. So they just huddled around me for like the 45 minutes we were stuck outside until we went back in. And like I talked to them after, and he said that like his sister had asthma, so he knew what was going on. But like I respect furries so much.
That's so sweet and wholesome.
His name was Kyle.
Kyle.
Kyle's an MVP, guys. We love to hear wholesome stories. So sweet.
Anybody else? Yeah, you're right from.
First ever con I actually went to, it was the Boardwalk Con, actually. And I got it for free because I was an intern on the William Shatner project for the Man of War graphic novel. And I remember we were about to go into the panel when he was going to kind of like announce the project, talk about it. And the person who kind of organized the internship for us kind of was like, all right guys, this is the chance, film with your phones, take pictures, everything. So we get over to the side, Shatner's standing literally right there. And he just like looks up at us, and then he sees one of the guys, he's like, with his phone out, he's like, who are you? Who sent you? What are you doing with that? It was like rough, chill. So, but it was just, it was an interesting experience, and then, first to be referred to as intern sit, intern stand. So in that, but it was a crazy experience. But
Yeah, I heard it gets a little crazy sometimes.
So, short one, but yeah.
That's great.
Oh yeah, so these stories don't all have to be fire alarm stories, by the way. I was just kind of like asking, because like I feel like a lot of con goers have a fire alarm story. I swear, it happens at like almost every convention. It's crazy. Alright.
Oh, I got one more here.
Yay, I love to see hands.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your hands up.
Yeah, you've had your hand up for a while.
All right, so my story involves food poisoning.
Oh no.
So basically, it was the very first year that Anime Next had moved from Somerset to Atlantic City. And I had the night before the convention, I had the unwise idea to eat week-old baked ziti.
Oh my god.
So my mom was driving me and my friend down to Atlantic City, and of course the first leg of the journey involved us having to go to a rest stop because I ended up puking from said stomach cramps and food poisoning, and then basically just bodily dysfunction, food poisoning for the first 24 hours of the con. Lesson learned, don't eat week-old anything. Just don't.
No, especially not before or at a con. Doesn't matter how much you're trying to save on somebody, guys.
Unless you have a high constitution.
Yeah, my poor friend was waiting with me each time I had to go to the restroom.
Well, that's
Every 15 to
a
20
real
minutes.
friend right there. Love those friends. Okay, so we'll do Question mark.
Yes, it's blue.
Okay.
So, my very first Castle Point Con was in 2015 when it was still in Hoboken. And cringeworthy, I know, I was dressed as Prussia from Italia.
Good stuff though.
And I found a group of people who were also dressed as Italia. And then we had a guy with a camera with a Deadpool mask on stalk us the entire time we were there.
no.
As well as follow one of the other people we were with into the
I feel
bathroom.
like I remember that guy. He was like stalking a whole bunch of people.
Mhm.
Ugh.
That was a great experience to Castle Point. As well as we went on the Saturday and nothing was open on the Saturday.
That's lame. Where do I? Go right next to you.
So this is Anime New York City 2021.
Everybody! You guys know.
My friends can vouch for people supposed to be 2021. We get there, yes, LineCon, the epitome. So we get there Friday mornings at 9 o'clock in the morning. We're like, okay, we're early, except the line was already down like 5 city blocks. And I who have been to New York City, I'm like, this is gonna take forever. So we're waiting here. I'm in Mui to go like dress. So short dress, shoulderless, like sleeveless. So
This is the one where it was freezing, right?
freezing. It was
Yeah,
30
it was
degrees
freezing.
with the wind. We're standing there, we're barely moving. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm asking people, like, we have no idea what the hell's going on. It turns into 4 hours.
Oh my god. I remember hearing about that all on the internet.
And then chaos.
And then when we were just about to get in, the line just suddenly collapsed. And I was fearing, like, what was the place called?
What place?
Like, let's all start stampeding. And I'm like, oh god, is this going to happen again? We just had this like a month ago. And I would never go back, honestly. Because
It was so disorganized, it wasn't even.
I know that they got like destroyed on the internet after that.
Yeah.
I didn't even go, and I was hearing about it like for a long time.
And I
after
got out of my
that.
house like 5 a.m. I was super early before like 8 o'clock we started blinding off. I swear, it was
That's crazy.
like, wow. Oh my god.
Go behind.
Alright, so this was semi-wholesome. This was, I think this was, I forgot which con it was, but I do know I went with my now ex-girlfriend, we're still friends. This was her first ever convention. So we were like in that weird phase of, are we dating, are we not? So but we were holding hands, we were walking around. All of a sudden, this homophobe starts yelling at us. So my friend, who is 5 feet 5 inches, weighs probably about the same as like one of those tiny chihuahuas.
Aww.
Goes up. She's wearing her, I forget, she was going as Reimu from Toho. I just kept doing it on stuff.
Good for her.
And I was just like, after that I was like, hey, I think I like you.
I would
That's how I
too.
felt my first girlfriend.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Good for her. We'll go with you. Yeah, you. Your mouth. Blue one. Yes, you. I saw your hand up.
So I have 2 stories. One involves a physical altercation with a bunch of Pokemon.
Oh my god.
Another one demands a bunch of Homestuck cosplayers to animate a red hentai.
Alright, let's vote. Should we do the Pokemon one or the Homestuck one? You guys like Pokemon? Homestuck? They want to hear the Homestuck.
Homestuck one. So at a convention a few years ago, I was hosting a panel, and one of the guys recognized one of the projects I was in, and he was dressed as one of the characters from Homestuck. Unfortunately, I've never seen the anime.
I think it's an online story.
It's an online story.
So he, recognized, goes, hey, listen, I like the work you did. Would you mind reading a line for me? And I can record it. I said, sure. I looked at it, and he first showed me pictures of the hentai, and then showed me the line. I said, with all due respect, I'm going to have to decline. And he proceeded to follow me around the convention for the next 2 days. And every time I saw him, more and more cosplayers from Homestuck were joining in and actually demanding, to the point where it was at one point we had to cross the bridge. They were actually down, pointing, saying, read the line, read the line.
That's
I just
terrifying.
said, I'm flattered.
It's like a short horror story. Just just more and more homeschool cosplayers keep stalking you.
It got up to about 15 people.
Ooh. That sounds about right, though. I mean, I don't know why, but like that doesn't. Not all homeschool cosplayers are like that, but I have also seen some things.
That had to be 2018.
Okay, yeah, kind of what you're done.
Yeah.
Oh man, crazy. All right, who else do we got?
This is really CatsuCon, like, already passed already. Lining up was like a nightmare. I got there on a Friday morning, which is like 7 o'clock in the morning. I got super early. I was like, the doors aren't open around there for a pre-register or pay me a ticket like exactly 9. My son was like rambling around that time. I didn't eat that much breakfast around that time. I better stack up. I'm just like getting there. And every time I take like 10 o'clock, I say, I should stack up more food next time I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Or just sleeping on the ground. It's like, wake me up until they opened up.
Yeah, always have snacks if you're going to be waiting a long time in line. Snacks of water, hydrate, for sure. Anybody else? All the way in the back. Red?
The red sleeve.
I can see your sleeve.
Hi.
Hey.
Wow. This was Chromaticon up in Hartford, and we were in line waiting to get on the elevator to get back to our room. And a bunch of us were standing there, finally got a free elevator, a bunch of us got on, as many as we could. And instead of going up, the elevator went down.
Oh.
And so when we got down, this guy got on and started yelling, "Everybody off the elevator! Everybody off the elevator!" And
scary.
A lot of people thought it was an emergency or something, and a bunch of people just left the elevator, including many of my roommates, and a guy got on, the one that was yelling. I was dressed like Lin Beifong. I was with Uncle Iroh. Everybody's seen Uncle Iroh.
Love that.
Yeah. And so being Lin Beifong, I'm like, you're a jerk. And he started swearing at me. Calling me all kinds of names.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, this guy is not going to get away with this. I'm like, what's your name? And he wouldn't tell me. I'm like, what's your name? And he wouldn't tell me. He gets off the elevator. I follow him. Everybody's like, and the door's shut. They're trying to find me because I got off, and this guy was like calling me the B word and everything else. I followed him, and I'm like, where's your room? And he wouldn't tell me. He just stood there and got in my face and smelled like brewery. Well, I'm like, just turned around. I was pissed off. Went to the con staff. I explained what happened, how this guy got on, threw everybody off the elevator, was a complete jerk, started swearing me out, calling me names, and they're like, what did he look like? And I explained it. Well, I got back to my room. My roommates all had Wikipedia open. It was John St. John.
Wow.
And I had it out.
Wow. That's awesome.
Hail to the king, baby.
Not at his signing the next day. He did not show up for 2 more years at Connecticut.
Wow.
He's there now and he has a babysitter.
Wow.
I said, you need somebody, you need a staff member, somebody to follow him around, he needs to go get some therapy.
Yeah, for sure.
But you can't abuse the guests like that. It's ridiculous.
No, for sure.
So, but I was like, okay, I had an argument with you.
Time to harass girls and chew bubble gum.
It's never good to fake an emergency like that.
Yeah, I guess they
Scare
were just trying to
people.
be funny and
It's not really
it
funny.
didn't work out.
No. It's good to hold people accountable though when someone does something wrong, for sure. All right. Who else? Anybody else? Trying to
I can say book.
see yes, see you.
Alright.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So this was 2013. I had to Google it, and the Harlem Shake was popular at the time.
Oh boy, remember those days.
So I was there. I was 14 at the time.
Young boy.
This was Anime Next before it moved, so it was still in Somerset. And I'm walking down the hall of my hotel room, trying to get back after getting some ice. And this girl walked out of her hotel room and was like, "Hey, you want to come film with us?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." She's like, "Come on!" And she dragged me into her hotel room, would not let me leave, and it was just really mask, and I'm just sitting there 14 years old. I had an anxiety disorder. I'm scared out of my wits. I have a flip phone. I'm texting my friend. They won't let me leave. And then, yeah, it was terrifying. That's it. It was just terrifying. That's how I got semi-abducted at an anime convention.
That does sound terrifying. Like, as like a little baby leave. Scary. Also,
I guess continue on like the trail of not so pleasant stories. Actually, this was a place at CBAG a few years ago. I haven't cosplayed at a convention in a couple of years. You know, the whole COVID thing, everything like that. I believe the year was 2019, 2018. Now, around the time, that's when like the season of My Hero Academia came out, where Deku was fighting Muscular. So I was the battle damaged Deku. So I had like the torn up like shirt with like one arm covered all bruised. I actually have my pectoral exposed and things like that. Everything went pretty well. I got a lot of pictures taken, a lot of professional photographers. It was a lot of positivity. Up until I think I was at not the Harmon Meadow, but some other hotel, climbing up to see the panelists. There's like a spiral staircase you get up front. There was a group of women who cosplayed and stuff who just basically were ragging on a lot of other people for some reason. They were just kind of poking fun at them. I think I remember this. Yeah, there you go. And as I came up, they're like, wow, look, you like basically catcalling me. And I was like, oh, that's where it is. And it's like, yo, why do you have like your whole tit out? And it's like, wow. Well, wait a second. I was like, oh, that's not really what I'm trying to do, but I guess, And then they're like, yo, let me touch it. Let me touch it. They were trying to, girls came up. Girls came up and was like, basically were trying to get into my face. And I was with my girlfriend at the time. And I was just like, well, no, thank you, appreciate it. Kept it pushing, had fun at the panel. Time later, I don't know exactly what the whole point was. I don't know if they were trying to be malicious or that's how some of you girls flirt. I don't know exactly.
well, they shouldn't.
But I actually had one of them actually pursue me at one of the larger, basically, event areas, like the gaming station. And I think the raid was going on at the time. And she was just getting away, so, you want to basically expose yourself. He was like, that's not what I'm trying to do. And it's like, well, yeah, you do? You want to basically show yourself off? Like, not really. And I said, I just took a step back and realized, why is it really bothering this person? I was like, do you just want to touch it? You can touch it. I'll let you touch it. We go like that, and she just... Right, well, interesting. But the reason I tell this story is that a lot of times cosplayers come out, there's a safe space that, we try to keep you safe. This concept tries to make sure everything feels safe and secure and nothing can possibly go wrong. Possible abduction, drunken inebriated panelists, and things like that. There's a one rare, 1 in a million chances, and most of them they tend to be listed as males. That it's guys that are doing these type of things. But just realize that there are instances where you women do not know how to handle yourselves, and we men can also be victimized. Luckily, it wasn't too bad. I think she was socially awkward and whatever. But that wasn't the first time that I was groped at CPAC. Actually, the following day, I was actually Itachi, covered head to toe, with the whole, the Akatsuki, robe and things like that. Full jeans. There's like barely any skin showing, and it wasn't that particular group. But I got my ass spanked and grabbed like 3 times that day, and it's like, what's happening? Like I'm pretty okay. Like that. I'm pretty yummy, right? But it was very strange. I don't know if that exactly happened. I don't know if he heard about that, but I knew that group of women on that staircase was bugging a lot of people. Wow. But it goes to show, it's not all men. Look at Johnny Depp, Amber Heard thing, just saying
it can be male, female.
It could be anyone.
But women, a lot of women do think they can just get away.
Were they hitting on us?
Sure. It's terrible.
It completely flew over my head.
It's like the hormones, I don't know what it was. It was springtime, it was pretty
I
warm.
was practically fasting. It was like the last day fast.
It was
mating season. Okay. Let's see. How much time we still have like a half hour.
He just reminded me of Crazy Girls. This was in Katsucon. This was in Katsucon around 2002, 2003. And I was in this one, Katsucon was in the hotel. And at that time, all conventions were in the hotel before they went into a convention center. Well, anyway, I'm going into the elevator, crowded elevator, to go up to my room. And then there were these 2 girls. They looked like they were no more than 12 or 13 years old.
Oh my God.
And this guy comes in, wearing a cosplay that looked like he was one of the Inuyasha characters. And these girls just basically swooned over him, but they didn't say anything until the guy left the elevator. And one girl said, "Oh, did you see that guy? Oh man, he was so handsome." And then the other girl said, "Isn't he? I wish he would have taken me to his room so he could fuck me real hard." And I just went, and these are like 12-year-old
And
girls.
they're saying it like right near you?
In the elevator with the people. And, you know, and it gets funnier because then Katsucon used to have a forum where everybody could just type in whatever. So after I got home and I typed that story, I said, these girls did that. Somebody in the forum replied back, said, "You in the elevator too? One of those girls was skanks?"
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, some children, man, that's why I try to stay, I try to stay
Katsucon
away.
is
It makes me
crazy.
nervous.
I've been going to cons since the very early 90s, so I got a lot of stories.
Oh, man.
Oh, we got.
You should write a book.
Yeah, everybody should write a book. We got a lot of hands up. Oh my goodness. You've been holding your hand up for a while, and then yeah.
Alright, so I have a story that it took place in the West Side Anime Expo, 2019. And that year was me and my friends' first year. We go and we planned that trip for like 2 years, and we finally made it happen in 2019. And during that year, it happened, like a regular convention, big convention, crazy, right? Around midday, I think around like 12, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, that same day, I was walking the vendors hall, in the vendors hall, right? And then we start feeling like the ground kind of shaking. At first, I thought the people was like, "Hey, are we having construction here? If we have construction here," people was like, "Oh, we're not construction." Until someone told me that the vendor stopped moving, the ground stopped moving, and I realized we hit by earthquake.
Oh, wow.
Right? So that's the first one. I was like, oh wow, I thought there was construction going downstairs, because we're in the convention center. So then fast forward maybe the second, third day, right? And then we had a concert. It was I think it was Love Live Opera concert. Yeah, and we were, at the concert, we sit down, and then everybody was celebrating, oh yeah, it's going on, and all of a sudden there's shaking one. Right, I didn't feel it, right? Like my friends feel it, right? And then the girls has to go back inside because the quick wasn't in the stage. So you see the light is moving, moving like this. So we realized it's a 7.1 earthquake somewhere in LA. I don't know where is it. And we realized that, oh my God, this is the second. So now my friend's like, is this year a con of the quick? We call it earthquake con, right? So that was a year. And then we have another earthquake on the third night.
Terrifying.
But everybody was asleep that time. Like, we were asleep. But there was an after the third time. On the fourth day. So, yeah. Welcome to Quick Time.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Natural disasters. Okay, we got another blue periwinkle hand up. Oh, for her friend, huh? I really can't see right now. I'm sorry, y'all.
Alright, so I'm gonna tell the story. I was Katsu maybe 2018, 2019, and it was a day in Rama shoot at the gazebo. We all know the gazebo, we went to Katsu. This is another cosplay is not consent story, and it was like, I think what had happened was my friend were like, we're gonna go sit over on the side while you do your thing. And I was like, that's cool, I'll do that, that's fine. And they called up for like character pairings, and if you know Dan and Rampa, I was cosplaying Shuichi Saihara, and they called up Kaide and Shuichi. So I go up, and there's a Kaide by herself, and I say, do you mind if I put my arm around your shoulder? And she says, that's fine with me, because I know how to ask for consent. And then they said switch pose, and I was kind of like, what should I do? Maybe just like take my arm off her? And she like turns to me and starts leaning in, and I was
like, oh no, where is this going? And she tried to kiss me. And I, without saying a single word, and this was a complete stranger, I didn't know this girl. And so I just like really fast, just kind of moved back, just fast enough that she like could not touch me. And the second they were like, okay, change pose, or like, all right, next group, I just sprinted out of there. And I sprinted to my friends, and I was like, guys, the worst thing has just happened to me. And they were like, what do you mean? And she was there with me. And it was just, well, I was like so shaken up over it too, because that was a few years ago, and I had like less confidence, I guess, than I do now. But that's just another cosplay, is not consent. Like, even if you're just trying to be in character and you're at a photo shoot, just be, conscious of everyone around you. Don't just kiss people. Don't do that. So, that's my story.
I totally agree with you. Cosplay is not consent, for sure. My friend Adam here had a story to tell. He mentioned it a while ago.
Yeah, just give me a sec to position the camera so we're all good. We're all gravy here. So, okay, so I've been going to cons for about 20-something years, and I've seen it all, heard it all. So, AAC, I think it was 2013, 2014, they have a formal. And I put together a formal cosplay, and I go with my friends. We go, and we dance with everybody, drinks and all that good stuff. It's fun. Now, I understand the parents will come to this formal because some of the girls there are underage, and understandably so. So they'll be their chaperone. Got no problem with that. I'm standing there with my friends, chit-chatting. This parent comes over, starts talking to me. I'm just like, all right, fine, whatever, talking. I didn't realize it. She started flirting with me, and I just look over, I was like, I hear you, I understand, but I'm not interested. No thank you. And I thought that was the end of it. So, I take another drink, and there's a tap on my shoulder. And I won't repeat what she said, because what she said, I was just flabbergasted. I have friends I have said some real outlandish stuff to. And we all got friends that we will say outlandish stuff to back and forth because we respect each other. It's understandable. What she said, I would never say to my ex, who I am tight with. I'm talking about an ex I would take a bullet for. What this mother said, I wouldn't repeat it. I'm just standing there. The blood has drained from my face. And I tap my other friend on the shoulder, and I'm like this. Get security, please. Please get security. And I'm just shocked. And I tell security what happened, and evidently that parent was also pre-gaming as well. And they escorted her out. Now, I get it. I guess I've been going to cons for so long, and I've heard stories and things happen. I've been in the middle of stuff. My other story, and then that's it. Animazement one year. I had taken photos, relaxed, went down to the rave. We've all been to a con rave, right? Yeah. We all have a general idea what happens at the con rave. So I go with my squad, we're dancing, we're having a good time. One of the girls I met earlier that day clings herself to me. I'm just like, who are you? I'm trying to get the jaws of life, and I look down like, oh, hey, she's like, there's this guy at the con who's trying to dance with me, and I don't like dancing with him. And ladies, if you've been to a rave, and you know how some guys would like to dance with you, yeah. Remember, fellas, not every lady likes that type of dancing. Respect that. So I said, you know what? Stay with me, stay with my squad. So I found out by the end of the night, I had escorted 5 women back to their room because this one person didn't know how to properly dance. The next day, I'm walking around taking pictures. One of the girls I ran into thanked me, for what I did. I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. That's what a Marine does. So she wanted to hang around me the rest of the day until I left. Yeah, no problem. We're walking around, and then she starts freaking out. I'm like, what's wrong? The guy that she was trying to avoid was on the con floor. He saw us and made a beeline. He's like, what do you think you're doing? And I'm just like, what do you mean with, long story short, he felt that she should belong to him because she showed him respect, being nice to him. That type of BS. So I'm just there like, you know what, bro? I'm not sure what's really going on here, but you're making her scared. You have to leave. So he starts getting in my face like he wants to fight, and I'm just like, here we go. Now, I didn't fight in the hotel. I just walked out. I'm like, I handed my friend my camera. I'll be like later. So as I'm walking out, he's yelling and screaming, following behind me, till we get outside around the corner from the front area of the hotel. And I just look at him like, look, if it's really that serious to you, make your move. So he swung. Now, I stepped back, reached around, and slammed him onto the ground, and I just walked away. I'm like, I ain't got time for this. I said, so I get back, there's a... No. I appreciate the applause, but I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. So I get back, they get security, I explain the whole situation. I didn't press charges, but let's just say that guy is forever banned from this convention. And this just goes to show, it doesn't matter who you are, always gotta look out for your friends, make sure they're safe. I have con kids, I have the con mom. I'm a con dad, and I tell my staff, first my crew, if there's any problems, you come see me, because most of the cons I roll with, I know somebody. So if I'm not by myself, there will be other people with me to handle business and protect you. So
it's always good to have a good con squad, for sure. All right.
So this is Liberty City Anime Con 2018.
I'm sorry.
Basically, I'm trying to remember, do I have any con stories? And then I remember that con, and I'm like, oh my god, there's 5 stories. I'm gonna, in one, okay? So, I dressed up as Hinata from Naruto, and there was this whole Naruto group, and it was a fun time, and we were all vibing. And then there was this one. I was freshly 18, by the way. This older Naruto cosplayer, I thought everybody was chill, knew about cosplays and consent and stuff like that. So then he comes and asks me, we're all having a good time, it's all fun and stuff. And then he comes and he's like, hey, can I get a picture with you? Because we're married. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he goes and I'm like, okay, so what pose do you want to do? And he goes and tries to put his arm around me, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And then I'm like, hey, what are you trying to do? And then out of nowhere, he just comes and kisses my cheek. And he takes the picture and he ends up posting it on his Instagram, and you can see how shocked I am. And it's still on his Instagram, I'm pretty sure, to this day. And I'm pretty sure he's way older than me. He looked late 20s, early 30s, and I was freshly 18. He didn't ask for anything and walked away like it was normal, and I was just so in shock. And then I ended up finding again the post, and you can see in my face that I didn't want it. And and I saw him before walking around at the convention. And also that same convention that was the first time I was riding a train, and something happened where the train they didn't unlatch something, and it ended up causing some sort of burning a burning sort of smell, and the train kind of made a move like that, and I was scared because it was my first time riding a train, and and then that same convention that happened, and then also my friend and I got stuck in the elevator. It wouldn't go up or down, and we kept trying to figure it out. We got lost.
That's also scary.
And then that also the same convention. I think when we were first coming in, there was this girl in this ladybug cosplay from the Cat Noir or whatever. Yeah, that. And she was fighting with her boyfriend, and she was hardcore, crying, and they were fighting really bad outside, and she looked like she needed help, and I was scared, and I wanted to ask her if she was okay, but they were really going at it, and my friend's mom who went with us, who was chaperoning her daughter, she was like, no, we have to go inside, we can't get involved because you never know what might happen, because she was really she was taking off her cosplay and stuff, and she was just going all out. But yeah, that all happened in LCOC 28.
Sounds like a scary time.
Yeah.
What's
the guy's
Instagram so we can mass
report it? I think I might be able to find it. But
That's a good idea.
Like,
Get
I don't
that
know if
taken
I'm
down.
like, I don't wanna, like, ruin, like, not ruin, but like, have somebody, like, not have fun or whatever, but I don't know. I didn't know what to, like, do about that situation, because it was, like, so long ago. But again, I don't know, like, I don't want that to happen to anybody else, but like, again, like, I wasn't sure what to do. I was, like, especially, yeah.
It's a shame how many stories we all have
But yeah,
about how cosplay is not consent. There really shouldn't be that many stories, and I'm sure a lot of us in here have more than one story about something like that, and it's terrible. And I'm glad that everybody in this room understands that cosplay does not equal consent. Ever. Always, always ask. Always. Let's see, we got some hands in the back. Yeah.
My story also has to do with the Katsucon fire of 2016. Katsucon 2016 was an absolutely terrible experience for me because of personal issues that I had with one of my roommates going into the con. Basically, the friendship ended at the con, and I remember at the end of Friday night, as I'm laying back in my cot, absolutely miserable, I'm thinking, man, I wish this convention would just end so that I could go home.
Been there.
I'm not a superstitious person, but if I somehow wished a fire into existence, I'm very sorry.
So that was your fault.
We have someone to blame now.
Thanks, Carrie.
Guy in the corner in the back. Yes.
I want to ask first, how far has everyone traveled? I'm on 5-hour drive.
Hour. Oh my goodness. We're on a 2-hour.
We're only 2 hours.
We're 2 hours.
I'm an officer for the animation club of SUNY Plattsburgh. And this story, I'm living it right now. The other officer puts in the request for the hotel that we're staying at. I didn't take a look at it. I should have. He books the Riviera Hotel in Newark. I don't know if you're familiar. Absolute dumb. We have 7 people on this trip.
Oh my goodness.
And there are only 2. And he requested 2 rooms, but each room only has 1 bed.
No.
The bathroom didn't even come with toilet paper.
No.
So I had to run down to the bodega right next to there, and it looks like a bomb went off in the bodega.
Oh my god. Sounds about right.
Other than that, the fact that trying to get in today, our campus gives us these procurement cards for every club. We all have a budget. We have $200 on that to get all our tickets. Just magically decides it doesn't work.
Oh, no.
The SA on my campus has tried to screw us over so much, and this is the cherry on top. Me and my other officer, we had to both shell out $125 each to make sure everyone had a ticket.
Wow, that's crazy.
So that's it so far. I just hope when we go back, no one's broken into the room.
Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying the con.
Yeah, I've stayed at some shady hotels. Also stayed at some really tiny rooms with like 15 of us, with like 1 bed, all for like $30 each.
You haven't lived until you stayed in the Days Inn for Otakon across from the BCC, sleeping in shifts with at least 6 people in the room. All because you want to be right across the street from the convention center so you can quickly change your cosplays and go in and be like...
And then go. And then do it again.
Exactly.
Alright, so we didn't tell the story yet. I want to try to get to
Somebody was
everybody.
trying to get in my room.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, so his story actually reminded me of one from CPAC from like 2017, of like one of the raves.
I'm sorry.
Raves.
Yeah. So I went with like a group of friends and we kind of all were dressed very differently. I don't even remember what I was dressed as. No. So we're in there, we're kind of just like minding our own business, you know, kind of in a circle. And I look over and one of the friends that wasn't initially with our group, but like we knew her, I see her like in between these 2 dudes, like that she's clearly uncomfortable, but like they're not getting the hand, they're just dancing on her. So I'm like, alright, I guess I have to do something because nobody else is going to. So I get in the middle, like I shove one of the other guys, and like, I'm like, hey, are you okay? She's like, no, can you get me out? I was like, yeah, sure. So I like hug her, and I like twist our body, like away from them, and we just like walk away, and they looked at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Kind of. I was like, you guys made somebody uncomfortable. If you want to dance with people, sure, like ask first.
Yeah,
but...
for real.
For the record, some of us guys, we don't think with the proper head, so we're sorry.
Let's see, we got someone who didn't tell stories.
Lois.
Oh.
So, a lot of stories were not so great. I don't know, here's a happier story, and whatever. So, it was one of my first, if not my first, convention. It was Anime Next in Somerset. It must have been 13 or 14, like 2013 or 14. And not that it's important, but I was cosplaying as Russia, so shout out to Natalia. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do at the time in terms of the panel I wanted to go to at the time. So I was, there was a panel that seemed interesting that was like voice actors doing something I don't totally remember. And I remember getting into the panel, I was one of the, the panel was like gonna be starting soon, and I was one of the last few people in, and I was just kind of trying to sneak in and find a seat. And I was walking in with a group of other people, and I even remember like one of them accidentally like bumped into me and then said sorry. And I'm just focusing on like finding a seat, and I go in and I find a seat like all the way on the side, like basically equivalent to your seat, but there's room between you and the wall. And I sit down and I look up. The people I was walking in with were the voice actors.
Oh my god, that's cool though.
Yeah.
That must have been fun.
I don't remember who they were.
Either way.
I know
that
your Todd Havercorn was there. I don't remember if that was his panel at the time. At the very least, if it was before I knew who he was. But there was a few of them, so I don't think it was just him.
Alright, so you got green? Green hair.
Okay, so this is about Hackathon of like this year 2022. So me and a few friends bought tickets to go there, and so when we were making the arrangements for the hotel, one of our friends was like gonna buy the ticket and we paid him back with like our share of the money. And when it came time to do that, I was like, why is this so like suspiciously cheap? And so I'm like, what's the name of the hotel that you got? And so I look up the hotel online, and like the first thing that shows up is like a news story of someone getting murdered there. I ended up not going to Katsucon because it was not safe, like COVID protocols at all.
Yeah.
But it was, I guess that was like a
Hotel
gift.
was aside.
Yeah, a gift from the gods that we didn't go to the murder hotel.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
at this
Glad you didn't
convention,
do that.
I ended up like accidentally booking some like luxury room.
Ooh.
Yeah, so.
Was somebody murdered then?
That'd be a plus for me though.
Alright, so we got time for one more. I hate this part. 'Cause I always want like everyone to be able to tell. But we got. Do you wanna? Yeah. Yes.
You know people like all sides like display their white or something?
Yeah.
Okay, first off, I wasn't dressed like a girl. I was kind of a boy, and I'm not sure if he was extremely obsessed with the color blue or some girl named Aqua. But either way, being my first one pass, I'm like, I told him nothing. I was like, okay, he's just being a weirdo. Then he goes, then I was separated because I wanted to go my own way, and I'm like, he says something to me like, can you join our call? And I'm like, what? Can you please join our call? You're blue enough. I'm like, no, I don't want any of this. You must be cleansed towards that. I'm like, what are you talking about? This guy brings out a bar of soap, no joke, sticks it in front of me, like, what are you doing? Starts rubbing me with it. You must be cleansed. And I'm like, back off. I ran back to this guy, and I'm like, people, get away from this to be holding the bar is so away from me.
He must have thought he was so funny too.
I don't know. It was so weird for me.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely weird, but oh my god, he must have thought he was hilarious.
What? Did he offer you Kool-Aid? He smelled weird. I'm not sure
He smelled weird.
That's all I care
Plot
about.
twist, guy holding the bar of soap smells bad. Big surprise. But okay, so this panel is unfortunately like pretty much over. It's over at 5 and I don't want to be that person that's here until like the last minute. I loved hearing everybody's stories, and if I did not get to, I am so sorry. If you see me throughout and you want to tell me a story, I love to hear stories. Please talk to me. I love to hear them.
And this panel will be on YouTube later in the next couple of weeks.
So thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate it. You guys were great. Thank you.